Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Royal Rumble review, or the Superstars of Wrestling review series for the week after the Royal Rumble 1994, which is January 29th, 1994. The reason I note that is because the Royal Rumble is such a major part of this. Jack Tunney announces that in the first time in Royal Rumble history, two winners took place. They do about 5 minutes of hype around that. The idea that the WWF champion will have to defend the title twice. He will face off against Lex Luger, and Bret Hart will face off against a secondary challenger, which ends up being Owen Hart. And the winner of the Luger and Yoko match will face Bret in the main event, as per the idea there. Vince McMahon is pretty impressed with all of this and spends a good bit of time hyping the match itself. Men on a Mission is here, and they kind of move into that process. In any event, I'm going to grab my phone. 2 seconds. I think the Men on a Mission experiment is more about connecting with the rap culture at the time, which doesn't exactly go well. Mabel stays in that gimmick for a couple of years and comes back with several rehashes of character. Mabel and Mo are men on a mission for a couple of years here. They do hold a short term, less than a couple of weeks, tag team championship run. Um, Kicks to the midsection. Mabel, of course, the more known of the individuals. Mo doesn't really have much of a serious tag team run. They're there through about 1995 or so before breaking the team up. Mabel, of course, 500 pounds, gets a few body slams, but also hits a spin wheel kick at his size, which is pretty amazing. Vertical suplex as well. Trying to capitalize on connecting with, I think, inner city African Americans. The gear they wear, I don't understand at all. In the sense of it is multicolored, purple and iridescent yellow, iridescent green, orange. Just it's really goofy. Clotheslines there, splash from the top from Mo, and splashes his own partner onto the man, and it is a interesting run. We end up seeing hype for WrestleMania 10. Yokozuna survived The Undertaker, and Jim Cornette, even in promo, kind of makes fun of the fact that the Undertaker goes floating away up into the ether. He says it's not necessarily fair that Yokozuna will have to defend the championship twice at WrestleMania, but he understands the stacked deck. Um, Bob Sparkplug Holly up next. Of course, Bob Holly later gets the Hardcore Holly moniker in the later 90s. But here, Hardcore Holly against the Brooklyn Brawler. Brawler spins him around. This is early Hardcore Holly, I believe. Of course, Holly had a brief run in Smoky Mountain Wrestling in 1992. Here in early 1994, he's getting a national run, but this character really doesn't work for him very long. Hard drop kicks along the way and some basic stuff. He eventually kind of reinvents the Alabama Slam, which to this day is used as a major deal. Match is pretty short, drop kicks along the way, and snap suplexes and a victory or two with a top rope splash from Hardcore Holly. Owen Hart turns on Bret and basically says that he is not sorry for that, that Bret has stolen his spotlight too many times, and the rocket goes, and Bret basically admits that he is frustrated with Owen, doesn't want to have to fight him, and they kind of do that role for the next couple of weeks with Bret refusing to fight but being forced to in time for WrestleMania 10. The Bret Owen match, probably Owen's best singles match on a national stage, also launches a feud that goes on for a couple of years. Then we move back to enhancement talent stuff. Um, Diesel against Tommy Angel. Angel has worked for both WCW and the WWF. Diesel, of course, coming off the Royal Rumble 1994 event where he eliminates, I believe it was 7 or 8 people. Angel tries to crossbody backbreaker by Diesel, and Diesel coming into his own here. Of course, by the middle of 1994, by summer, he's a former Intercontinental Champion, but Diesel ends up hitting the power bomb and gets the victory there. The Quebecers willing to challenge Men on a Mission, Jacques and Pierre, with Johnny Polo. A pretty big deal here. Hype for the upcoming WrestleMania 10 at Madison Square Garden, is a pretty big thing. Tatanka still hasn't turned heel. He doesn't turn heel until right before SummerSlam of '94. So kind of spends the next 4 or 5 months being a little bit inconsequential. Some basic Irish whips and squashes in the corner and the like against an enhancement talent here. Tatanka goes up against an opponent who really doesn't do the best sell job for him, sells for him, but doesn't do everything I think he could do or might do or whatever. Jumping clothesline, Tatanka taken down. Tatanka does get a victory with the Samoan drop style maneuver 1, 2, 3, and there we go. In any event, the WrestleMania 10 report Todd Pettengill provides for us. And then we see another Slim Jim commercial. Earthquake hype return to the WWF as well. That return goes on for a couple of months, but not a very big return. I think he's gone by even maybe 3 to 6 months into 1994. Jeff Jarrett in a bunch of tassels, checkered tassels, coming out of Memphis, getting his first real run here. Jarrett ends up going with Bret Hart and Scott Hall for the next little while. Obviously, Jarrett is a Memphis standout. I actually prefer his Memphis work to anything he did on a national level, but that's always been my preference. But Jeff Jarrett coming around here, hard shots, and they're kind of finding the real Double J character, whatever that looks like or is, for Jeff at the time. Big body slams attempted, but an inside cradle by the enhancement talent, making Jeff look a little bit vulnerable, which I think they wanted. They had not really. I think the vignettes with him had played, but the country star thing takes on a life of its own in the first couple of months as an actual wrestler. He had done some work in 1992 and 1993 as on house shows. Sits down and gets a pull of the rope victory there. Jarrett does do a couple of drop kicks, but basically looks like a cheesy heel, and that is the way that he wants to go about doing business. Paul Bearer talks about The Undertaker not being permanently gone, but acknowledging the damage that Yokozuna has done. The Undertaker lives within all of us, basically doing the old Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania lives in all of us sort of thing. The Head Shrinkers are up next in a tag team match. They end up turning babyface within the next little while, probably within the next 4 or 5 months, but they're still heels here. Big power slam by Samu and then the one show I was on with Sam, one of the most respectful people that you'll ever meet in the business. Big backdrop there and kind of a bit of a flapjack along the way as well. But the reverse sidekick followed by the top rope splash by the Head Shrinkers. Go back to Jim Ross in the event center type face-to-face environment, and he is talking to IRS. IRS continues to say that he should have been the Intercontinental Champion. Is kind of lacking a bit of an angle here going into the WrestleMania part of 1994. I think he's in the 8 or 10 man tag that was scrapped at that event. Razor Ramon, though, will be defending continually against IRS and basically says that he slipped by him at the Royal Rumble, but is not done with him by any stretch of the imagination. That will close us for this particular edition. We'll be back with more. The next week, there is a match between the Steiners and the Quebecers here on Superstars of Wrestling.